Greetings, Ridgefield. I am Carol Mahlstedt, and I'm here with Kelly Turberfield for Stress Busters, How Ridgefield Copes. This series was conceived because we're all feeling quite stressed these days, trying to manage living through a pandemic. And we know that we can often feel isolated and alone. And one of our hopes with this series is to help people understand that lots of other people are feeling stressed, but they may be coping with it in ways that could be helpful to all of us. So we're highlighting different Ridgefielders who are finding unique and interesting ways to cope with stress. So we're welcoming Kelly today, who's going to be talking about how she copes with stress. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Carol. Hi, everybody. How are you?
So tell us about yourself, Kelly.
I'm a mom of a sixth grader at East Ridge, and he is an only child. His name's Ryan. My husband Dave and I moved to Ridgefield 9 years ago, so we've been here for a little while. And basically, I'm a homemaker. I take care of everything in the house and manage the house, and I volunteer a lot at school and at Meals on Wheels and Project Resilience and the Compassion Project. So just keeping busy.
Great. So tell us about what it's been like for you to live through this pandemic. Like, what in particular stresses you out?
I think for me in particular, just being a mom in all this, you have a lot more to do than you used to have, and which a lot of moms have a ton on their plate as it is. And now we have even more with the remote learning, the homeschooling, worrying about the emotional effects on your kids, just the stress in the family, all being inside for so long or away from friends and your social networks. And that's the way of releasing a lot of stress. So it just starts building up in the family, and you're just trying to juggle more things and take care of everybody still at the same time. And as a mom, you sometimes forget to take care of yourself. And that's really an important thing that, people forget to do. So,
which is really what we want to talk about with you today. So how are you taking care of yourself? Like, what do you do to sort of relieve some of that stress that you're talking about?
Well, so lately I've been doing a different form of exercise for myself. I have a herniated disc in my neck, so I haven't been able to go to the gym and do a lot of the running and stuff that I was doing. So I've been walking with my dog and doing lots of hikes locally, and also, in some, long drives, hour away or 2 hours away, just to get away for the day, but mostly local. And that's really helped me, take some time for myself and reduce stress. I started listening to some podcasts, and I'm a big fan of this Greater Good Science Center that's based out of Berkeley, California. And they have this Science of Happiness podcast that is really about taking care of yourself and how you can be a happier, more thoughtful, kind, generous, compassionate person. And it just kind of reminds you that we're all human and we make mistakes and we can always be better and take time for yourself. So I started listening to that. And one of the podcasts was about the Noticing Nature practice. And in this practice, you were to spend 14 days, so 2 weeks, and go out in nature anywhere and take a picture of something that struck you for whatever reason. And so I started doing this. I'm not a photographer by any means, but just started taking some pictures. And my first day out, I had moved a leaf to get to a camera, and I got a picture of a praying mantis that I think you have posted. And I have a couple of shots of him, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, he turned around and looked at me, and I just got this perfect shot of this praying mantis that was like inches from my iPhone. So it was pretty cool. And then you're supposed to really post them every day and think about how you feel. I wasn't ready for sharing that kind of stuff, so I just started taking pictures, and then one day I decided to put them up on Facebook, and I got a lot of friends saying that they were pretty cool. So
I have up the 2 pictures that you were just talking about, the praying mantis.
Yes.
He is looking right at you.
Yes. In my first picture of him, he was away, but then he turned around and looked right at me, and I literally was 2 inches from him. So he was a pretty big guy too. So.
Wow.
It's just kind of fun.
Uh-huh. And I'll bet when you're taking photographs and you're really noticing things like these mushrooms in the other part of this picture, um, you can't be thinking about much else when you're really, really noticing these details.
Yes. So it's a good way for me to just kind of get away from all the stress and all the thoughts and my little circle of issues and things that you're dealing with, your list of things to do or things you've got to take care of. It puts me a little bit of time away from all of that, where I have to start thinking and looking. And you have to for this practice, you really just have to be patient, and it's kind of a meditative experience where you have to kind of look. And I've noticed as it's starting to get colder and now the leaves are all off the trees, it's getting harder to find something that I want to take a picture of. So it makes you look a little bit harder and a little deeper. And I've noticed I've taken pictures of some lovely ferns in the spring and summer, and then in the fall, these ferns are just as beautiful, but they're all kind of brown. They're this golden deep brown instead of the lush green. And so I'm beginning to appreciate beauty in different places and in different things. So it's fun. It's been fun.
So it also feels like there's a metaphor in there, like we're living through a pandemic where, people's lives are truly at risk if they get seriously ill with COVID. And then you
Yes.
see these walks in nature and, on some level, it must feel like the world is still turning. Praying mantises and lichen and mushrooms are still growing. We're going to get through this. We're going to survive. And, it's still a beautiful world.
Yes. It kind of brings a little bit of peace to everything. There's a picture, I think, of kind of a daisy that it was like beginning of October and it was cold. And I was like, this daisy came out like it was summer, it was like the only one, none anywhere around. And it was just this one little daisy just sitting there like, look at me, I'm here. And it just kind of made me, smile for that day. Like we can make it through whatever, you're going through. So
if the daisy can rise up through the crack in the sidewalk, then we can do this.
Yes, definitely. And,
So
just taking a walk, I know the research shows that you get lots of benefits just from being outside. It slows your heart. A 15-minute walk can do wonders for you. You can slow your heart rate down. You can reduce your cortisol levels, which leads to a lot of stress. It's the muscle tension. And I just come home a little brighter, and it makes me make it through my day. So some days are harder than others, and some, it's good. But
good to hear. So tell us, well, first of all, I have to ask about the dog. What kind of dog do you have?
I have a chocolate lab named Sadie. She is 5, and she
So
is
in lab life, that's still a puppy.
Yeah, she's a puppy. She's sweet. She had 5 brothers, and she was the only sister, so she gets a little crazy at times. But she's a great friend to all of us, and probably my husband's best friend and my best friend. And I'm called the cookie lady at home because I have the cookies. So I do all the cookies with her, but she sleeps in my son's room and then moves over into our room, and she's just wonderful. So she's
benefits from these walks also.
Yes, she loves it, and she keeps it exciting.
Now tell us a little bit about where you like to walk that's local for all the people who are listening. Like, what's your favorite place to go?
Well, for me, we live right up near the rail trail, so we're on that a lot. And my husband probably walks Sadie at least 2 times a day, and I usually take at least 1 trip. But we stay pretty local. Sometimes we go to Leon Levy is probably our favorite, closest place off of 123. The boys club, I think, did the trails there, and they maintain it so nicely. And there's all this just different nature there that I've noticed. We were at Harrington Harrington State Park up in Reading. Huntington, yes, Huntington State Park, that's it. And Sadie loves it there because she can swim. And I skate there in the winter. So it's just really a fun place. And it's pretty. It's wider trails though, and it's kind of like, it's more man-made trails. They've cleared it wider, but it's still really nice. They have beautiful fields. We go to Saugatuck Falls a lot. We'll go way out in New Milford and over near the Hudson. So we'll just, travel different places.
So you're also getting to know this area a whole lot better than you might have without the pandemic.
Definitely.
Venturing to places you might not have gone. That's interesting.
Yes. And
So
it gets my son out for the
sure.
day too, because he would rather be home probably playing video games all day if he could. So we have to force him out every once in a while. When he's not playing hockey, he's,
Is he into the photography?
Not really, but I did notice he's looking at nature more. Like he found a big leaf and he was like, Mom, you got to take a picture of this big leaf. And he's like, it's so big. And it was as big as his head. So we just kind of took a picture of him with his leaf, and he wanted to take it home. And he'll bring rocks home and I have to carry them. But that's
if he plays hockey, he can carry his own rocks.
Yes. But he has to keep his hands free, he says. So it's just kind of funny. But anyway.
So for all the people listening, we will link an app that's called All Trails that lists about 500 trails all around the Ridgefield area, where you can go for walks. Kelly's mentioned quite a few of them. It's a great app. It's free.
Yeah, it's great. All the maps are there. Weir Farm map is there. So if you get lost, you can always, look up the map and figure out where you are to get back home. That's happened to me a couple times. So,
well,
and it also will tell you whether it's like a long walk or a steep walk, the gradient. So whether you're climbing Pine Mountain or whether or Hemlock Hills is another place that can be hilly, or you can take a shorter route that's flat, or if you're, or something near water, something that's pet friendly. They give you all sorts of tips. So.
Right. It also gives tips for families with very, very young children. It advises them when it's not appropriate, which I would imagine is really helpful for people.
And as much as my son fights to not go on a hike, once he gets home, he's happy he's done it. So that's always
good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly, I just want to thank you for sharing how you cope with stress, and we love your photos, and keep it up.
Thanks. I know Sharon Collins. I know she's in town and she posts online every day, pretty much. Pictures of all over town, beautiful pictures. She's a real photographer. I'm just a little phone amateur, but it's still fun. Always something new.
Well, and it still helps you cope with your stress, and that's all we can do right now is find ways to get through this as best as we can.
Yeah, and it's changed my perspective on a lot of things. I look at things differently now. Not only in the woods, like when I'm in town, I see different things or notice things. So been a good habit for me to start.
That's terrific. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye now.
Ridgefield.
Are we